In this introductory video, I'm going to talk about a topic called muscle confusion, rest-pause principle, speed principle, and descending sets. One thing to keep in mind when viewing all these videos is that all of them are basically some form of muscle confusion. And the way that works is you need to confuse your muscle to make it adapt and grow. Normally, your muscles want to stay the same. And if you do, if you keep doing your same workouts, they're not going to change. So by confusing the muscle, we force it to change. So what is rest-pause principle? Rest-pause principle is basically when you do a set of a particular workout, like squats for instance, and instead of resting your normal 1 minute to 2 minute times, as soon as you're done with your set, you rest for maybe 10 or 30 seconds. Somewhere in between there, and then you go and you do another set. What this allows is your body to regenerate some of its glycogen and to regenerate some of its energy so it can continue to do another set but not rest as long. In essence, you'll end up doing more work, and more work in the end means more progress. So what a staggered set is basically, let's say you're doing the bench press, and as you're doing that exercise, as soon as you're done with the set, go and do some calves right after. And then as soon as you're done with your calves, go and do your bench press again. And keep going back and forth until you've completed anywhere from 3 to 5 sets each on each of those workouts. What this does is it saves tons of time. At the same time, you end up working 2 different muscle groups. And it's just a really great way to get your heart pumping and to activate a little bit more endurance into your body. The speed principle is basically compensatory acceleration. The way Joe Weider talked about it was basically when you're doing your exercise, as you're doing the concentric motion, that's the motion where, for instance, on a bench press, you're coming up, that's concentric, and what that does is it means your muscle it's flexing, it's reaching its flexion stage. And as you're doing that, you go up as fast as you can, and then you come back down. And as soon as you come back down, you go back up again. It's very explosive in nature. And what this does is it allows your muscles to basically, the strong parts of your muscles to fatigue more, and the weaker parts to fatigue a little less. So it's kind of a weird concept in how it works, but essentially, the stronger muscles get stronger and the weaker ones kind of stay where they're at. And normally people are going to tell you, well, wouldn't you want your weaker ones to get stronger? Well, yes, you would. But at the same time, sometimes you want to focus on your bigger muscle groups and you want to bust a plateau. If you've been on the same weight on a bench press for a long time, possibly you need more muscle confusion. And so with compensatory acceleration, or the speed principle as I like to call it, you can basically force the majority of your muscles in your chest and a little bit of your triceps to basically get the fatigue that they've been desiring so they can progress, so you can get stronger basically. Descending sets, or pyramiding down, basically is when you're doing the exercise, as soon as you've done a set and you rest and you're about to do your next set, you move the weight down a little bit smaller. In every accompanying set for that particular workout, you keep moving the weight a little bit down. Not too much, but just a little bit. And what this does is it allows you to maintain proper form, and it allows you to essentially continue doing the workout. So a lot of times when a person let's say they only do 3 sets and eventually they decide, well, I want to start doing 5 sets now, it can be very hard to continue to do that same 8 reps or 10 reps or 12 reps per set, or however many reps you're doing, to keep it consistent every new accompanying set. It can be kind of hard to do that. And what the descending sets or pyramiding down principle does is it allows you to maintain good form because the weight is a little bit less, while at the same time preventing you from getting too fatigued. So that's something to keep in mind. It's a very, very effective way of training. It's very similar to actually pyramiding up, where you start your workout fairly light, and you warm yourself up and you start putting on more and more and more and more weight. So eventually, each accompanying set, you would end up doing less reps, but because of this, like I said previously, you end up doing more work, and again, more muscle confusion. This is what we're after. So that's another really great one. So that concludes the 5 muscle building principles or advanced training techniques in this video. In the next video, we'll talk a little bit more about drop sets. We'll talk about training instinctively, partial training, holistic training, and eclectic principle, which is pretty cool stuff. Hope to see you in the next video. Cheers.